right, welcome back to Newsroom. Dr. Nakasone, this FBI voice analyst, still on the stand being questioned by defense attorneys. They're now talking again about the quality of these 911 tapes. Let's head out to Sanford, Florida, and Sunny Hostin. You've been listening to this testimony in full. Bring our viewers up to date at 30 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, I can tell you what is going on now and where Don West seems to be going. He's going into listener bias. And the reason he is doing that is, again, because I think this witness for the state is queuing up someone from Trayvon Martin's family that will come onto the witness stand and say, I am familiar with his voice, and when I listen to that 911 call, I hear his voice. So now Don West is trying to say, well, let's hold back a minute. Isn't it true that there is listener bias sometimes, meaning you're listening to something and you may be familiar with that person, but just the sheer sort of stress of listening to what would be your family member being killed on tape may skew your perception of the voice. And so that is where he is trying to go. And that's a very important place for the defense to go, because think about how crucial it will be if this witness now has testified, yes, familiar voice recognition is reliable, and then you get someone on the witness stand that says, I am familiar with Trayvon Martin's voice. That would be very, very important for the state, and that's why we're hearing the defense challenge that premise.
We continue to be surprised that this voice analyst was put on the stand in the first place, because we thought, after this initial hearing, to keep voice analysis out of the mix, out of the trial, and now suddenly this witness has been testifying for, what, an hour and a half now, Paige?
Seems like it, but it does look like we're getting a different type of an opinion. He's no longer saying, I believe it's Zimmerman or I believe it was Trayvon Martin. He's talking about the mechanics of it and how it's difficult to make a determination like that after the fact. Sonny's right about bias. Bias affects eyewitness testimony. It also affects audio, visual, things like that, because it's all in what the person perceives and that person's background. If I think that's Trayvon because I know Trayvon, then I'm going to have a bias to believe it's Trayvon.
Yeah, but won't that be tough? I mean, what if Trayvon Martin's mother takes the stand and she says, I'm sure that's my baby?
Exactly, and both sets of parents are going to say, I think that's my kid. But here's what's interesting. The ear witnesses that we have so far, they didn't know either person. And the majority of the ear witnesses, 3 out of the 4 who've talked about that night, have said they thought it was Trayvon Martin. So again, I don't see how this is helpful, because the people who are closest to it, they think they heard the young man.
All right, we're going to continue to monitor this testimony, but we want to talk about something else this